Welcome to Whisky Ace. Today I'm going to show you how to enjoy a whiskey you probably already do. These are just tips, there are no rules. However, with a single malt, which can be a little bit expensive, it's nice to have a few tips. So one of the first things is we have a glass, and that is a nosing tasting glass. Usually when you have a whiskey, it's going to be a larger glass, usually in a bar. And one tends to have a blended whiskey with lots of ice. Okay, this is actually for nosing. Now the first thing, put that back down quietly, because a lot of us drink wine, and the first thing you want to do is you have this urge to swirl it. Well, we're not going to swirl a whiskey. And secondly, if you were to nose it like you did a wine and put your nose in, my gosh, you've got 40% alcohol instead of 13 to 14% in a wine. So what we're going to do first is we're going to pick it up, we're not going to swirl, and put your nose over like this. And what you should start to get is various aromas. Now what I've already done, breaking a rule that my granddad and dad would have frowned upon, my dad still does a little bit, is that I actually put some water in. In my case, I actually put an ice cube in there. But the myth is that you're diluting it. One could say you're a wimp for diluting your whiskey. Well, that is absolute rubbish. In fact, you have to put a little bit of water in. Because like a wine where you would decant to open up a wine with whiskey, a little bit of water, not tap water, bottled water, spring water, is going to open everything up, and you'll start to get aromas. As you keep going across, and the alcohol will start to die down a little bit, which is what you need, otherwise you're just going to smell alcohol. With that little bit of water, or in my case ice cube, you start to smell. What we're doing today is a Glenfiddich 12, very, very popular whiskey, single malt whiskey. And you'll you'll have things like pears, honey, maybe some cut grass, that sort of thing. Now, is nosing really important? Well, probably not. You want to taste it. However, it's nice to get into that feeling. When you start to smell some of the aromas from a single malt whiskey, you can start to think about Scotland or your favorite place in the world. Makes no difference. But you're starting to relax. Okay. Now, single malt means from a single distillery. Doesn't mean from a single cask, just a single distillery. It's all barley, no grain. And in the case of Glenfiddich 12, 12 means the age of the whiskey from a single distillery, but it could actually have some older ones in it. It can't have any younger than the age that's on the bottle. So in this case we have 12-year-old, matured in sherry and bourbon casks, and it's going to be at least 12 years old. Okay, so what we really want to do is we want to get to the taste. That's the really important part. Again, I use an ice cube, and most whiskey experts would frown upon that. Let me tell you, ice cubes are fabulous. Nothing wrong with them at all. As a whiskey gets older, then you really don't need probably an ice cube, you just need a little bit of water. But if they're 12 or younger, then they have a lot of fire. And for me, cooling that fire down, I can actually get to the tastes much better and sort of start to understand them and enjoy them. Now, when you do the very first taste, it's kind of nice to do a chewing fashion, which when I do whiskey dinners, I used to forget and actually be chewing and trying to explain that at the same time. Quite messy. Anyway, so what you do is take a little sip. And the reason I did that is because I get the front, the sides, and the back. And then what I love about a single malt whiskey is you get a finish that can last for ages. Yes, it's expensive, but it's not like other drinks. It's there for absolutely ages, and you will get all sorts of different tastes. In the case of this, a lot of sort of tropical fruits, pears, that sort of thing, a little bit of honey, absolutely delicious. This was the first tip in nosing and tasting, and please visit whiskyace.com, and we're actually going live June 25th, and it's going to be one of the most informative, fun whiskey sites in the world bar none. Thanks. Till next time.